Hi, my name is Nikki. I'm a client service specialist at Pain Free Dental Marketing. Now that you have a Facebook Ads Manager account and the Facebook Pixel installed to your website, you're ready to dip your toes into the world of Facebook marketing. To get started, let's create your first set of 3 targeted Facebook ads. The first thing that you're going to do is navigate to Ads Manager. Now that you're in Ads Manager, select the Campaign tab and press Create. Under Buying Type, make sure that this drop-down menu has Auctions selected, and under Consideration, hit the switch for Traffic. Then hit Continue. You've created a new campaign. This new campaign will hold different ad sets. With each ad set, we will focus on targeting a different demographic. Facebook might boast that more than 2 billion users use its site every month, but it's important to remember that it's not just about quantity. It's about the quality of engagement that you receive on your ads. Targeting the right people is the first step to attracting the right patients to your practice. Start by changing the campaign name to your practice name. We can see the settings that we previously chose when creating the campaign. If you scroll down, you'll see campaign budget options. We'll come back to this later. For our first ad set, we'll focus on general dentistry services. To get started with that ad set, click here. Now let's change the name. No matter what kind of practice you have, general, family dentistry, orthopedic, general family dentistry, orthodontic, or pediatric, it's very important that you focus on detailed targeting. For this, we'll use targeting based on the batch geo information that you collected. Let's go to batch geo and look at the map that's been created. Now that you have your map open, zoom in on your location. It's important to match the advertising targeting to the practice's geographic footprint. If you just draw a 3 to 5 mile radius around the practice, you may be leaving out huge areas of opportunity or throwing away money if there are natural or socioeconomic barriers around the practice. From this map, we can see that not many patients are coming from north of I-20. This is a good example of a physical barrier. We can use this information to better target, as opposed to just drawing that basic circle around the practice. We can see that northeast of the practice, there are some patients, but not as many as south of the practice, in areas such as Bernie. We're going to focus on the areas around the practice, as well as down here to the south. Taking this information, we'll navigate back to Ads Manager and begin targeting. We'll start by creating a new audience. In this case, no matter what practice type you have, there are a few age groups that we'll want to exclude. This includes the 13 to 17-year-old age group. This is because Although you may be wanting to bring in more teenagers to your practice, we should be focusing on moms who are making the decisions for the household. 85% of household health decisions are made by moms. We will also want to exclude the 18 to 24 age group. This is because most people in this age group either are not making their own dental decisions, or if they are old enough, are still on their parents' insurance, as well as generally they have great teeth, so they don't generate high production, aside from hygiene. To exclude these audiences, we will simply go down to the age and make sure that these age ranges are not included. For general dentistry, there's two ad groups that you want to target. The first one being the 35 to 54-year-old age group. With this age group, you want to have imagery and language speaking to the main services offered by your practice, including general, new patient ads, cosmetic, and whitening. If using stock photos, you want to use younger and attractive photos, and also make sure that you're matching the demographic that's near your practice. Additionally, we would want to target the 55 plus group. This group, we will primarily focus on implants, veneers, sleep apnea, and other treatments that older patients tend to gravitate towards. When choosing stock imagery for this, you want to skew older and then also display an active, healthy lifestyle. And if you know from your research that you have a young population nearby, for example, you're next to a university, you'll want to focus on general new patient ads, family dentistry, and highlight convenience factors like online texting and scheduling. This would be for the 25 to 34-year-old age range. With stock photography, skew young, trendy, and vibrant. Using your Batch Geo map, you'll want to edit your locations. Click on the blue pencil tool to edit. By default, all of the United States is targeted, but we know that won't work. To get started with the targeting, I press Search Locations, which brings this map. I'm going to start by putting the practice location to get a general idea, just a little bit closer to where the practice is. Like I mentioned before, when we were looking at Batch Geo, we see that we don't really pull patients this far north of this highway. So this radius should be reduced, and then we should continue to reference and use our best judgment to make these maps match. I've reduced the size of this radius to not include some of those north areas. We saw from this map, patients are being pulled from the Cleburne area. Let's look into targeting that area as well by pressing Search Locations, adding the city name, and then adjusting until we feel like it looks right. Obviously that's too big, we'll make it a little bit smaller. In more rural areas, we may notice a larger area being targeted. That's totally okay though. A bit of overlap is okay. We just want to make sure that generally we're covering all the areas that we see from the Batch Geo. Now that our map looks good to go, we can focus on some of the other demographic information that we want to focus on when targeting. I want to make a whitening ad. In that case, I'm going to change this age range to the 35 to 54. This audience should be good to go. You'll press Next. Now, we'll create the ad. Let's change the ad name to the service. In this case, it's going to be Zoom Whitening. We want to make sure the correct Facebook page is selected, and if you have an Instagram account connected, select that as well. I'm going to be using a single image. Like I had mentioned for the 35 to 54 age group, we want to make sure that we're showing a young and attractive stock photo. We'll scroll down and press Add Media to add our image. We're going to add our media by uploading our image. Hit Done, and your image is added. The next thing to do is add the primary text, which will be read as the description, as well as the headline. If you're curious what these will look like, you can see an example of what the ad will look like on several different platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, in the story, and in the newsfeed. I'm going to add my primary text. I'm also going to add my headline. Everything looks correct here, and I can see what it looks like in different places. Now I need to add our website. I'll copy and paste the link where it says website URL. I'll scroll all the way down to where it says URL parameters, and I'll copy and paste the URL query parameters that you can find in the written version of this tutorial. You'll need to make sure that this is done for each ad. This looks good to go. I'm going to hit Publish. Now we're going to move on to creating our second ad set. If you wanted to add more ads to this existing ad set, you would hit these three dots and then press Create Ad. Right now, we're going to hit the three dots on the campaign level and press Create Ad Set. This way, we can target a new set of people depending on what the service is that we're focusing on. Next, we're creating the Pediatric Dentistry Ad Set. Let's start by renaming it. Let's scroll down. You'll repeat what we did for general dentistry whenever it comes to locations. So you'll edit, and then add all of the appropriate targeting. For age, we'll hit Edit, and we want to focus on the 25 to 65 plus age range. The reason for that is that we can add detailed targeting, so we can make sure that this ad group are parents of children age 0 to 18. To add that detailed demographic information, we'll come down to Detailed Targeting and press Edit. We'll click here and type parents, and then we'll make sure to choose the following: parents with toddlers, new parents, parents with preschoolers, parents with early age school children, parents with preteens, and parents with teenagers. It looks like all of the appropriate detailed targeting information is selected. Now we can hit publish. Before we hit publish, we'll click on the new ad and create our Pediatric Dentistry ad. Let's start by renaming it. We want to make sure the correct Facebook is selected, and Instagram account if you have one set up. We're going to add media, and in this case, you want to make sure that you choose imagery that shows children but also resonates with moms, as they make over 80% of healthcare decisions for families. Let's press Add Media and Add Image. Next, we're going to add our primary text and headline. And then update our website URL. If the preview looks correct, you'll go ahead and hit publish. For our next ad set, we're going to focus on orthodontics. So we'll come back up to the campaign level again, press the three dots, and then create ad set. We're going to rename this to Orthodontics. You'll want to do the same thing that you've done with the other two campaigns here by using the batch geo information to update your locations. There should be two ad sets with orthodontics. One to focus on adult orthodontics. Age range for that will be 25 to 54. It'll focus primarily on adult imagery, and then we will add detailed targeting by including interest of invisible braces. For children's orthodontics, we want to make sure that we're targeting parents of children age 8 to 18 with children-focused imagery. In this case, I want to work on an ad for adult orthodontics. So I'm going to start by choosing the 25 to 54 age range. Next, we'll go down to detailed targeting and hit edit. We'll type in invisible braces, and we'll select this interest. Everything looks correct. Now let's go down and edit the actual ad. Press New Ad. We're going to rename this ad. And for this ad, we'll be talking about adult Invisalign. Make sure the correct Facebook is selected, an Instagram account if you have one set up. Let's add media. For adult braces, we'll want to make sure to use imagery that is adult-based. We'll hit done. Now we need to add the primary text and headline. And then we want to make sure that our website URL is there. We have the Learn More call to action. You can see it right here. It's the button. There's other options, but we suggest using Learn More. We'll add the URL parameters as we should with all ads. This looks correct. Now we can hit publish. Congratulations, you've made your first 3 Facebook ads. Congratulations, you've made your first 3 targeted Facebook ads. Now, let's go back to the campaign level, and we'll set our budget. You'll adjust your daily budget according to how much you would want to spend across these 3 ad sets. When everything looks correct, make sure this switch is flipped on, and then hit publish. That's it. It's one step down and one step closer to boosting your practice.